This episode is brought to you by Spira Capital. Founded by 2008 Ron Brown scholar Ethan Monreal Jackson, Spira Capital is your fractional C-suite. Whether you're a startup or a venture firm, a freelancer, or a family office, Spira Capital gives you the scale, support, and stability to grow. Stop worrying about stuff like bookkeeping, accounting, FP&A, operations, HR, payroll and benefits, or your international workforce. Let Spira Capital run those for you so you can run your business. To learn more, visit spiracapital.co. That's C-O. Welcome to The Value of One, The Power of All, a podcast created by the Ron Brown Scholar Program. Since 1996, this organization has been investing in the next generation of African American leaders. And this podcast highlights the stories of the people that make this program special. I'm your host, Ray Pryor, 2015 Ron Brown Scholar. And in this season, presented by the Ron Brown Venture Lab, we're highlighting founders in our alumni network who are changing the world through innovation and entrepreneurship. We'll dive into their personal upbringings and backgrounds, the origins of their ideas, and the successes and challenges they've had along the way. Today, I'm excited to share my conversation with Rusty and River Fields. Rusty is a 2017 Ron Brown Scholar, and River is a 2021 Ron Brown Captain, both the co-founders of Honeyglow. Thank you both for making the time to have this conversation. Been super excited to reconnect with both of you and learn more about what you're doing. So for the audience that's less acquainted, let's have either of you just start with a brief overview about what Honeyglow is, and then kind of we'll dive into the origin of how you guys got started, which is a really, really powerful story.
Yeah, Ray, I just want to say we're super excited again for you having us here. We're honored to be here. This is the first podcast that we've been on for Honeyglow. So yeah, super special to have it be with Ron Brown. So really excited to be here today.
For sure. Just want to double tap on that. Very excited to be here. I think this is going to be an awesome convo. So I'm excited.
Yeah, for sure. So what is Honeyglow today, at least? What do you guys do? What do you guys sell? And how did it get started?
I can kick us off just for you and Rusty and talk a bit more about origin story. Honeyglow, it's a superfood forward, clean skincare and wellness brand. We're building out now into a 360 beauty brand. So across skincare, body care, hair care. But yeah, we're primarily known for our cleansing bar. So it's our lemon, turmeric, and kojic acid brightening bar. It's the number one brightening bar on TikTok.
Yeah, just to give a bit more backstory on how we got started. We're about 18 months in now. We started in November 2023. Whole process really began when our grandmother on our mom's side, she was diagnosed with breast cancer in summer 2023. And for anyone who has a family member who's gone through that, or if someone has gone through that themselves, the treatment regimen, the entire process takes a real strenuous toll, all aspects of like your mental, physical, and emotional health. And my grandma, she's immigrant, came here from Jamaica, so she's really outgoing personality, really bubbly, really likes being the life and center of the room. And in our family, she's really been like this anchor, like all holiday, all family events, like everyone gathers around her house. So she's really been this like epicenter of the family. And it was real tough for us as well to see this personality who's like so dynamic, so lively, so outgoing, to begin now. She's shrinking from herself every time she passes by a mirror, because as a result of her treatment, she started to develop these like blotches around the circles of her eye troughs. And every time now she passed by a mirror, she's reminded of this. It's this external reminder of this like internal battle that she's fighting. And River and I, we wanted to come up and figure out a way, how could we, A, help her with the hyperpigmentation on her eyes, but B, secondly, most importantly, how can we find a way to uplift her spirits and help restore those aspects of her personality that it seemed that she was losing or had began to fade away. And so 3 to 4 times per week, we'd go over and we'd transform her living room into these mini spa-like sessions. And so we'd adorn her, dress her up in these white robes. We'd serve her mineral water. We'd bring our laptops and put this flute music in the background. And then we'd try out our latest skincare recipe. And as I mentioned, she's from Jamaica. And so she was really open to natural remedies, different berries or different herbs, soursop or different teas and things, extract. And we tried everything from pulverizing, mixing, mashing different ingredients, and just trying out these different skincare treatments. And my background is in neuroscience and biochemistry. And so I was really comfortable reading through the scientific literature on what's new, what are new ingredients being tested, what are new things people are looking at to treat hyperpigmentation. And I would say at some point along the way, we came across turmeric as a skin brightening ingredient. It's used in a lot of different products. And I found that if you pair turmeric with kojic acid, you potentiate the effects, you make it even stronger. And they work together to inhibit some of the like excess hyperpigmentation by inhibiting this enzyme called L-tyrosinase, and it inhibits that activity. So the turmeric is really amazing. It's this holy grail ingredient where it's this natural exfoliant. And in our product, we use organic turmeric powder, which we source from Nigeria. So it's this natural exfoliant, really gentle, great for helping to fade the hyperpigmentation, fade dark spots. It's a natural antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, antibacterial. And then the kojic acid comes in pairs and helps block that L-tyrosinase activity, and really helps prevent the dark spots from coming back. So they get this real synergistic effect. So when we began with that, we began formulating in the bars, in like liquid version and cleanser, a whole bunch of different modalities. We settled on the turmeric bar. It was for a couple of reasons. One, it was contained. It's something easier that our grandma, she can use on the days when we weren't there, something she can keep up on her own on a daily basis. And it was a bit more simple, less complicated. So functionally in terms of easy use for her, and then just from a product perspective, it was something, not many ingredients, pretty easy to use, and something she can keep up with on her own. We noticed after, I'd say 4 to 5 weeks of using it, the hyperpigmentation under her eyes began to fade. And we thought, wow, this is awesome. And you could see it, more exciting for us, you could see it, and just personality came back. That spark started to light back up, because we would try to get her to come out on outings and stuff, whether to go to Central Park in the morning for a run. But I think when you have something like this type of experience or process that you're going through, you do really start to have a sense of insecurity, which is really understandable, or you feel like all the eyes or a lot of attention is on you. And she wasn't comfortable going out as much. And so it was these little things like her wanting to go to Lincoln Center again, or wanting to go to Broadway again, or even go to Central Park, be outside. That was just really awesome and inspiring for us to see. And so what we did next was we had sent the bar out to our cousins, our family, friends, just to really see how they liked it. And it was really awesome because the bar, I mentioned, it has organic turmeric powder. It's all 100% natural organic ingredients. So there's no SLS, no SLES, no parabens, no hexane. So none of these harsh chemical additives. It's just really clean, natural, and organic ingredients. And so they really appreciated that as well and loved the product. So once all the positive feedback came in from them, oh, they really love this. You guys should start selling. You should see if other people like it as well. This was a couple months later now. It's October 2023 timeline. And so I'm 26, River's 23. By October timeline, we see TikTok Shop had launched as this new platform in the US. From things we'd read and seen, we'd seen this occur 2 times already. I'd say in early 2000s with Facebook, and then again 2010s in Instagram, where we had this new platform where you have tons of attention, and it changes the way that e-commerce businesses can reach customers, reach community, build community around a product. And so we felt that new thing was happening with TikTok. And so by November, we said we want to put the product online and see how people engage with it, how they resonate with it. Do they enjoy it? Do they love it as much as we do and as our friends and family did? And so we put it up and just began leaning heavily into like organic content, and just showing behind the scenes of how we're making it, what we were doing, what inspired us, going lives and like speaking with customers directly, and everything just go organically from there.
The type of person that your grandmother is, and the fulfillment you guys got at being able to create something that breathes life back into her and allows her to live life in that way. The timing of TikTok Shop and you all getting positive feedback and thinking about maybe diving into this. Maybe before we dive into what's happened over the last 18 months, certainly where we'll spend most of our conversation, what were you guys doing beforehand that may or may not have been relevant to this, that you guys stumbled into out of wanting to be great grandsons to your grandmother?
Yeah, definitely wasn't skincare, or beauty or wellness at all. It's completely different. I'd say one thing which is relevant to what we're doing now is we'd always been really deep in community. We'd always been doing community type projects, whether through our block association or different events or projects. We had a foundation where we had launched this project, partnered with the Harvard mock trial, where we had raised money, $15,000 in 3 weeks, to sponsor 40 students from our community in Bed-Stuy to attend. We had attended the mock trial in October, and we learned that the next session was going to be in 4 weeks in November. And so over a 3-week period, we had just done everything from like creating GoFundMe to like campaigning on streets in our community in Bed-Stuy, also like in Wall Street, downtown Manhattan, letting people know that this is an amazing program, that it'd be really like transformative to afford the opportunity for these 40 students to be able to go and experience that. Even though now Honeyglow is more of it's a business, but at the foundation, it's rooted in, building community and building those relationships. But me personally, yeah, so my background was in neuroscience and biochemistry. Before this, I had a career trajectory I wanted to do on neurosurgery. I wanted to become a neurosurgeon. We were homeschooled our entire academic career, and that allowed us to kind of different courses that we were interested in. We had this set curriculum, but we also got to explore different areas of interest. And so I think I became interested in neuroscience when I was around 12 or 13 years old. I began reading about neurosurgeons, got really fascinated by the brain, just watching these YouTube videos, documentaries. Just the more I read, I'd say the more I became fascinated. And when I was 17, I had wanted to get more of a in-person, first-hand look exposure. And so I saw that you can't really be in the operating room in the US. There's HIPAA laws and different policies. Doctors, they can't take on that added liability for a 17-year-old in high school. And so I said, okay, I'm going to look for opportunities outside. So I had reached out, I'd emailed over a period of a couple of weeks, 300 neurosurgeons around the world, everywhere from China, Nigeria, Brazil. Most never responded. I got one back from a doctor in China who said I was a bit young, but to reach back out when I was in med school. Another doctor said similar thing. And there was this one doctor from Zimbabwe. Her name's Dr. Jacqueline Nozipo Murari. And she said, yes, that I can come down and shadow her. Later afterwards, the experience, she told me she had no idea that I would actually come. She just didn't want to crush my spirit in the email, but had no expectation that my parents would actually let me fly from New York to Zimbabwe to work with her over a period of 5 weeks. But I would say that was an incredibly transformative experience for me. I'm deep in my passion for neuroscience and neurosurgery. Neuroscience is what I majored in. I began my academic career at Johns Hopkins. I then was selected one of 4 students for the study abroad program at Oxford, where they take 4 students from our undergrad freshman class to spend their sophomore year at Oxford, and 4 students from the sophomore class spend their junior year. And so I was one of the 4 students selected to study my sophomore year at Oxford to do biochemistry, where I also was able to explore neuroscience further. I partnered with some doctors there as well. I was able to put out my first publication on Parkinson's disease, exploring. And then I ended up completing my degree at University of Pennsylvania, where I graduated in 2021.
And River, tell me a little bit about what you were up to prior to all the events that led to Honeywell.
So similar background was homeschool as well, both Rusty and myself, as Rusty mentioned earlier. A lot of community building there through our block association, as well as community projects we're hosting through our foundation. Fast forwarding to university, my background is business and finance. Went to Wharton, studying finance, then left, did several internships at crypto venture capital firms. Also interned at a hedge fund in New York City. And then Rusty and I, we actually launched a project called Our House. It was the first Black residency hacker house. And that our community building experience prior to that was very helpful in what we were doing there. So we're hosting these series of residency programs. Our first one in our townhouse in Brooklyn, it was a 4-week program. We had 13 engineers, builders come in, work. They were building projects. We also invited guest speakers who helped coach them along the projects that they were working on. And then towards the end of the project, they demoed, pitched their project to a panel of VCs that we had there. But the community building aspect that we've had throughout throughout high school, throughout our years like prior to Honeyglow, I think has been like super helpful in kind of building what we're doing now. We launched natively on TikTok, but now we're really leaning into doing these IRL experiences. So pop-up shops, residency programs, product launch events in person where we really can connect with people, talk about the products, because we know that these in-person experiences are much more sticky. And so we're definitely doing a lot of that this summer. So I'm excited about that.
I appreciate you both sharing that, that community spiritedness, excuse me, that community spiritedness and intentionality around curating that in whatever spaces you're in is a big part of Ron Brown and a big part of why we're all here. Wouldn't necessarily outside of this context jump to the top of the list of reasons why people would think that you all would build an amazing company that you're building. You would think maybe it's your background in neuroscience, Rusty, or maybe it's your background from Warden River, but your ability to build community just at home and where you are is what's going to build Honeyglow to be very durable. That is as strong as any other asset you guys are bringing in your backgrounds to what you're doing.
I would just double down there. I really say it is the strongest asset. And that's where we really focus on as we're continuing to build intentionality there and making sure we continue to grow and nurture this community. Because especially now with TikTok Shop, with all the platforms, with all these advances in e-commerce, consumers just have so much choice. And what's really differentiating one product from the other, you want to create and put forward the absolute best product that you can. And like really hone in to make sure you're creating this high quality product, but it's really the community that creates that differentiator, why you choose between one brand and another. It's something that resonates with you, that speaks to you, that you feel relatability or you feel a connection with, and it has like a part or place in your life or your routines. I think that's what really resonates with someone to be a part of something.
Yeah, well said. Um, so let's talk about the last 18 months and as much details and numbers as you all are comfortable disclosing. It doesn't need to be any, but I don't want to understate the level of volume and scale that you guys have done in just a year and a half, and certainly where your ambitions are. Maybe take me to what the growth has looked like from day zero to now. What inflection moments where you realized, oh, this is very different than us just sending our brightening bar out to our family and friends and posting about it on TikTok. This is turning into something real and legit. And we both have career paths we could be pursuing. This is now worthy of all of our attention. Can you walk me through what were those moments in these early months that have signaled to you, oh, this is something that people really need, they really want, and we're the right people to give it to them?
When we first launched, we had really no expectations. We were just putting on because we thought we had a pretty cool product. It works. And we tested it with our grandma, helped with her skin, helped to uplift her spirit. We tested with family and friends. We thought we had something pretty cool here that was actually effective. Put it launched on TikTok Shop. We like to say we put the buy button online, and we were shocked. Within the first 2 weeks, it went viral. Then it repeatedly went viral. Within our first 3 months, we did $1 million in revenue. In our 5th month of business, we did our first $1 million month, which blew our minds because we were just experimenting with something, and then to see the rapid growth.
And that's March 2024. I'd say that's kind of be like the
Major inflection point, for us, and really solidify. I think the first 2 weeks we were passionate. Oh, we have a pretty cool business idea. I think the March month though really solidified that, oh, this is actually something bigger, and we really kind of focus our attention here and really dive in. We were posting content, fulfilling orders. We were working 18 to 20-hour days every single day, weekends included, no holidays, not because like we're forcing ourselves, but because we were generally passionate and excited about what we were building. And we really saw like firsthand how like this founder-led authenticity really enables building community. We were posting content ourselves, 3-4 pieces daily, also doing lives. And we were seeing that we were able to really connect with our audience. The lives in particular, where we're speaking with people in real time, talking about their experience, their glow journey, using the product, what do they love about it, areas of improvement. Also just new products that we're going to launch, what they're looking forward to. I think this really just serves as a great way for us to speak with our audience, speak with our customers, connect with them, and really build community, but also learn in real time, like what they're looking for and how we can improve.
Yeah. So we started Honeyglow actually with $1,000 and out of our kitchen on the ground floor. We live in Bed-Stuy, so it's the ground floor of the townhouse. So the kitchen island, we had like these, we used our pots and we were just mixing different stuff.
It was scrappy.
Yeah,
very, very
super scrappy from the beginning. And as I mentioned, it started going, viral after about 2 weeks. And so it was just I'd say a continuous process of us like trying to, keep up with demand. And so ordering more molds, ordering more equipment as we go. So we started the ground floor in the kitchen. I'd say by December, January, so it's about like 8 weeks, 10 weeks in, we then moved to have include the second floor of the house as well. So we're using now both floors to like make, package, like pick, pack, and ship the orders. And then it's around April, I have a mixed-use commercial space, which is about a block away from our house. And we use that commercial ground floor, kind of fitted it to do production, which is where we're currently making and fulfilling the orders from.
I appreciate you guys sharing that. And the thread I'm picking up in all of the community stuff you guys talked about earlier, and how hands-on you have been and continue to be day to day, and not just making, but also posting content. A lot of founders who are part of the Venture Lab get a lot of pressure to make their businesses look and feel a lot bigger than they are, or make it look very corporate. You have a whole team of folks that you're delegating, and you're really in the CEO suite, and the day to day is handled. And I'm sure you guys have operationalize certain parts of what you guys do just out of necessity of the volume. But you're also very willing, in fact, it seems adamant about being the faces of the brand and being very hands-on with the customers and talking to them directly, consistently. Was that something that you knew that you wanted to do, or did you ever feel like you needed to make it look more corporate, like there's a whole team behind Honeyglow and that's still doing this? I'm realizing that is special about what you guys are doing, and it's the authenticity that you're talking about in the brand and the storytelling that is leading to a lot of success. 7 figures in 1 month, or 7 figures after a little while, going viral in 2 weeks. Your head might get a little big. You might get a little excited. You might think, "Oh, we got to hire this person and do this and that." But it sounds like you guys stayed very close to the operation, which is powerful. Was that intentional, or was that just a byproduct of who you guys are and what you guys are excited to do?
I think it's a bit of both. I think, well, first on like the authenticity piece, I'd say that's just how we began. So we had never had TikTok before. I would say like authentic content and the authenticity is native to the platform. TikTok is a bit more raw and behind the scenes and as a platform compared to some others. Literally, Honeyglow was the first time I'd seen obviously like TikToks like over people reposting the content over to Instagram, but I like didn't have a TikTok account. So Honeyglow was the first time we had like downloaded, been on the platform, and we're spending time going through there. And the authenticity really resonated when we began making the first videos and going live and speaking to people. And then we just leaned more and more into that. And I think it's definitely, for us, it's been a huge key to the success. We would just set up the camera on the tripod stand and see people when we're getting the soap delivered and to see all the different aspects behind the scenes of how product is made, how this all comes to be, and all the different parts that go into, getting this bar at your house. And getting really that behind the aspect look, I think was really interesting and really cool for a lot of people. And I think also gives us that relatability. And it's a new look on e-commerce, I would say. It's this social commerce layer where it's different from just going on a site and you click a couple buttons and you order a product. It's different where you can go on, if you're on live, you're ordering something and you're like, okay, how does this scent smell different from this one? Why did you choose to put these different ingredients? And you're getting to get that feedback in real time. I think it just provides like this new improved layer or aspect to social commerce.
I'll also say that we understood that people generally like to grow with you, especially when you're in business and we're young founders and we're building something that we're passionate about. The aspect of growing with you, growing alongside you, and being able to have a say in the direction of where this is moving. So when we were initially posting content, we didn't get a lot of views. I think within the first 1-2 days, we didn't get a lot of views, but we were getting lots of comments. Then those comments having engagement. Then first week and a half or 2 weeks, we started to get lots of viewership ourselves or through our own handle. Leaning in, we were doing that naturally, but then doubling down because as a result of the thing that's working, doubling down really this raw, unfiltered, behind the scenes view of what we're doing and how we're building this business. I think that was really has been and will continue to be effective for us.
Yeah. And I touched on little and River mentioned a bit in the comments, but in those early days, so you're putting up the video and people respond. And it's like part of that growth has been making a video in response to their comments and it just build the conversation that way. And it also like builds the engagement because they're following along to, watch the new video you posted, other people. And so it like builds viewership that way, just like organically having those conversations.
A lot of people giving a lot of advice about go-to-market strategies. The simple thing of building in public, like you said, Robert, but then just being yourselves, not needing to dress up anything differently or make it seem like something it isn't. Just letting people into the journey and bringing them into it in a real way allows you to have the same rapid growth that you might at some crazy complicated digital e-commerce strategy that somebody put in a deck somewhere. Very inspiring.
For us, it just been authentic, but in hindsight and reflecting back on it, I think it's also super strategic as well. It just makes sense to do it that way. You're getting feedback in real time of what the people actually want from you. So in terms of new products, you don't have to come up with what you think they want. You get to ask them directly, what do they want? Do you want it this way, that way? How do you this center? What form do you want it in? I mean, you get to get that feedback in real time. And that informs your decision-making process. So when you go to put something new out, you're not really missing the mark. It mitigates some of that risk in a way because you're asking your community what they actually want.
It takes the guessing out of, well, I'm not sure that you should guess, right? It's as simple as just talking to people and just delivering on what they said they wanted. So, there's one thing for you guys to pivot from investing in crypto startups and hedge funds and neuroscience and to building a company that's rapidly growing independent of the product obviously being great, right? It works and people are excited about it and continue to come back. I've heard you guys talk about before, Honeyglow is building products in a particular lane for a particular set of people that clearly can't find something like this elsewhere. And clearly the effectiveness of not just your brand, but also the product seems to be filling a gap in this market that doesn't exist yet, or it isn't fulfilled, at least to the level that most of us would be satisfied with. Once you guys realize, okay, we have something that people want, what did you see just generally in the skincare landscape and the beauty landscape that you felt, we're not just going to keep doing this because clearly people want it and we can make some money doing it and it matters to us, but also this is a space that clearly Honeyglow is adding value to, and people want us to continue to build other things within it. What did you see in the general market that you thought you could really capitalize on?
Yeah, absolutely. You're touching on a super important point there. I'd say as we began researching more and seeing other products that were there, so the lemon turmeric kojic bar, it's designed to target and help fade hyperpigmentation, which is major skincare concern and something that particularly affects melanin-rich people, Black and brown people. And when we looked around, we saw there's a lot of products in the market. My background in neuroscience and biochem, when I was, whether doing the internship in Zimbabwe or I'd also done some shadowing during my time at Oxford, and you're spending time there and you're looking at what research is being done and who are the patients that are participating in these studies. And you just clearly see it's not being tested on melanin rich. It's not being tested on Black people. And so there's really a disservice there, a disconnect, because when a patient comes in and the doctors are trained, or the doctors being trained have been trained in textbooks and in materials and in seminars, or all your learning things, you're not taught on how these different skincare conditions, how they present on melanin rich skin. Your models are really different. So you don't know what to look for, which I think is a huge gap and a huge misstep in providing that quality, comprehensive care to your patients. And we saw a similar thing in skincare and the types of who the studies are being done on, the patients that are being selected there, dermatologists, who these skincare product developers are producing new products for. Black and brown people, you're not the target market for this research. You're not really, you're not a first thought who this is specifically being designed for to treat the unique concerns that you have. And so we saw an opportunity that resonates personally for us. And so currently now we're in the process, we've partnered with this amazing cosmetic chemist who focuses on both from product design to after the clinical and efficacy studies, designing them in a certain way from like how the patient populations are made up to focus that, you're designing, one thing off the top is that like for melanin rich individuals, you want to pay attention to when we talk about glowy skin or we talk about this glowing effect, it's really a reflectivity index. So it's how much is sunlight being reflected off your skin. From a consumer perception, reflectivity is really, from the scientific perspective, what you're looking at. That's the index measure of what you're trying to increase. And so it's understanding from your consumer's perspective, reflectivity is the target that they're looking for and like how they perceive glowiness, to then translating that to the bench. How are you designing products then to maximize reflectivity? And so that's the thought process we've communicated to her, how we're thinking about and transforming the consumer needs into the actual new products that we're developing and looking to innovate on.
Fascinating. So I know the brightening bar is likely still your number one SKU and perhaps will always be. It was the thing that went viral. What other products have you guys made so far, or that you guys are thinking about making that folks can get excited about that will come from Honeyglow?
Sure. So we have the brightening bar we have in multiple scents as well. We also have a liquid. So a lot of people are asking for a liquid version of that. So we have a brightening foaming face wash. So the main active within turmeric is curcumin. In the bar, we use turmeric powder, which has a 5% concentration of curcumin. In the brightening face wash, the foaming wash, we don't use turmeric powder. We use turmeric extract, which has a 95% concentration of curcumin. So it's more potent. Both work really well, but a lot of people are asking for a liquid version. So we have that. We also have moisturizer. It's organic Jamaican black castor oil. So this pairs really well with the bar. So after you use the glow bar, the brightening bar, you want to apply a moisturizer, really lock in that moisture and moisturize the skin. And we also have lip balms. They're long lasting. We also have a topical magnesium spray. So in the US, over 50% of people are magnesium deficient. Magnesium is crucial for over 300 biochemical reactions in the body, from like muscle function to nerve function. And And so the best way to get magnesium into the body is topically. What we have is a topical magnesium spray. So you can spray it on your stomach, your wrists, soles of your feet. Those are really the best places to spray for fast absorption.
Really targeting there are our lymph nodes. And so that's why it's like underarms or soles of your feet. You're trying to put it as close to lymph nodes as possible. It allows for better absorption.
So those are some of the products we have now. But we're actually, as Wesley mentioned earlier, we're working with a cosmetic chemist to uh, build out our skincare line. We're also preparing to release our body care lines, as is body butters, scrubs, body mist, oils, and then a few months later down the road, probably 6 to 8 months out, we're going to be releasing our hair care line and supplements, which we're very excited about.
Like what we currently have in development with the chemist, it was really taking a look at the what's needed in a full skincare routine and how can we build off of this single SKU. So this glow system that we're developed now has these 5 elements. And so it starts with reset, which is your cleanser, and then target, which is your oil serum. It's vitamin C, high concentration oil-based serum. Then refresh, which is this mist, which focuses on intense hydration, packing the moisture back into your skin, which is another super important thing. My background is in research. It's just super fascinating to find out these new things. But again, for melanin rich individuals, moisture is such an important concern because the rate of moisture loss is a lot faster for melanin rich individuals. And so when you design a product, especially targeting this demographic, moisture has to be top concern, one of your top focuses. And I think that's just really fascinating to, think about when you're looking at the data, looking at the science behind it, and then thinking about what are the issues, what are the concerns, and then matching and really making the product development innovation focus to meet those issues. And so, right, so the reset, the cleanser, target is the serum, refresh is this hydration mist, and then it's moisturizing, which is it's a face cream, which is designed to help restore and protect your skin barrier. And then the final, the fifth step is a SPF product. And so again, the idea there was just thinking about transitioning from this single SKU, which we love, it's done really well and we're super excited about, and building out this whole entire end-to-end system, which meets all the different needs throughout your skincare routine and skincare journey. End of July, the products will be finished formulation. And then there's a couple more steps in stability and efficacy testing, the clinical studies, and then we'll be launching shortly after those are complete.
Sorry. Very, very cool. I'm excited to see as you guys' catalog continues to grow. I want to ask you guys about a particular moment in your company's history. Like Honeyglow is coming around the same time as TikTok Shop in the United States. And then there's this moment, this day, where we all aren't necessarily sure that TikTok in the United States is going to be there. And then there's those few hours of you can't log in the United States and all the things that happened after that. And obviously things may have not been as dire as the media hyped it up to be. What was that moment like for you guys where you thought maybe your main channel of distribution was going to get compromised by things outside of your control?
Yeah. This is a mix of some layer of uncertainty. Fortunately, because of the growth that Honeyglow had, we were fortunate to be paired with an account manager at TikTok who we meet with on a weekly basis. So they guide us through the parts that they were able to disclose and what was happening on the back end at the company. TikTok is such a massive platform here in the US. 1 in 3 Americans use it every single day, and the amount of hours they spend on platform and the growth of TikTok Shop and the GDP that it's going to contribute to America is going to be massive. And so their interpretation of what it looked like was the leadership at TikTok had to show that they are in alignment with the US administration and that they're signaling in a way that they're going to abide by the policies here. But worst case scenario was more so that TikTok has to change ownership, but the size of the platform and the attention capture that it has, not that this just goes away in a sense. But still, it's, as you mentioned, TikTok has at the time was and still represents a huge portion of our business and is one of the main channels. So just from health of a business perspective, we are actively growing across channels just to have that diversification there.
I'm glad that you all sounds like probably had some peace of mind going through that. Maybe your customers didn't, and maybe they were reaching out worried about what was going to happen.
We're spending tons and tons of DMs. Because people had ordered on the 18th, some had ordered the 19th, and they're like, if TikTok goes away, if I can't log in, I'm still going to be able to ship. So what we were just doing is just telling people we'd gone live, just have that reassurance so people can see your face and just know we're here. We were just printing out orders as they come in, tell them we're going to be able to do that as long as we log in the app. TikTok had also confirmed all the orders that are placed in, we're still going to have access, even though the app went down. Merchants still have access to the seller center. So we still have all those orders that came in, and we just let customers know we're printing these out, and we are going to be shipping these. At the same time, responding to DMs and messages, just giving people updates just to provide that reassurance there as well.
Yeah, that's that extra mile that you all are able to do with your customers just because of the relationship that you have with them. But now, obviously, thinking much bigger than just one channel, and we'll continue to build things out. And so, just to wrap up here, I had one more question I wanted to ask you. It's one that I have been asking all the founders who have been a part of this series, and the commonalities across all of them are that they are ridiculously smart, hardworking, community spirited people like you too, who also could have gone on to do pretty much anything with their lives. So the options, whatever milestone and whatever age, are virtually endless. You all have talked about the things that you were excited about before starting Honeyglow. So the question is, why, of all of the things and all the ways you could make an impact, why this? Why building this brand that you all are building now, as opposed to neurosurgery and investing? But why this? Of all the things that you all could do with your gifts and talents and experiences, why did you choose to double down on
Yeah. So skincare and beauty wasn't top of mind. But during adolescence, I had acne. I had hyperpigmentation. So it is something that we've experienced and can relate to. I'd say there was something special how this came about, from this being not starting as a business, but as a way for us to help our grandmother and support our grandmother. Every day we're learning and growing. And for me personally, whatever I would have ended up doing, it has to be something where there's this continuous opportunity to learn and grow. And I feel that we have that here. Like, we used to play tennis and fence. Like, I was former #1 fencer in the country. So we're really competitive. And I think health and wellness just plays such a huge aspect of that. And I think there's a lot of attention now also being played to this entire revolution around health and wellness, around longevity. And then I'd say another added piece is my background in neuroscience and biochem. When the goal was to do a career in neurosurgery, it was beyond just becoming a neurosurgeon, but it was, how can you impact how healthcare is delivered to those who don't always have access and resources? And so I feel like this touches on a lot of different interests and passions that we have, and melds together in this really unique and interesting way.
Yeah. I would, adding to that as well, our purpose is there, the mission is clear, and circling back on that competitive nature, like, we played sports, we're very competitive naturally. We have a really cool, fast growing business here, and we want to see what we can do, want to see where we can go with this. This is consuming our full attention. It's what we're focused on. And we're excited to take it to as big as it can be. We read a lot, research a lot, listen to tons of podcasts on business, social media, different verticals, different disciplines as well. And we have this business now where we're able to actually incorporate what we're learning in real time and then see the effects of it. And I think that's really cool. Before, like, when we were listening to stuff or reading things, you're able to deposit this information, but you don't really have any way of actioning on it. Now you have a way of actually actioning on it and seeing the results of what you're doing. And that's just really awesome.
Well said, both of you. There's actually one last question, if you guys do have a few minutes, I wanted to ask you guys and just give you a chance to talk about. A lot of people have aspirations of doing business with family. Family is a big part of why people are excited about all the possibilities of entrepreneurship. Family is really at the center of everything you guys are doing, and even in its origin. What is it like building a company with your brother? I'm piecing together, you guys are both very competitive people, or athletes. I'm sure there's some spirit there that keeps you both sharp, and it was probably always a part of y'all's relationship. But can you just talk about what it means to not be doing this with some other co-founder, but be doing this with somebody who you've done most, if not all, of your life with?
First of all, it's awesome. I mean, we're able to do this together. I think that that's really awesome. Think about being able to build a business with your brother. So first and foremost, it's awesome. And I love that aspect. I think it's one of the best parts of building Honeyglow. So we've basically, right up until university, we've done everything together. Played the same sports, go to the same events, have similar interests. And so
Homeschooled.
we're both homeschooled. We're connected for sure. So we have a very close relationship. It's easy. We get along very well. Obviously, as you mentioned, we're spirited, we're competitive. So sometimes there are days that are a little bit harder than others, but I think we work really well together. And at the end of the day, just knowing that what we're building, it's for us, by us, it's ours. And we're able to build this with this really amazing community as well. I think that's just really amazing. And it's unique.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. It's awesome. I really enjoy it. Wouldn't change it for anything. I think one other thing I'd add to that as well is a lot of times you see founders, they have to find that co-founder match to make sure that the personality match is there. And I think for us, because you know the personality of your brother, so and we have a great relationship outside of the business. So that was an easy transition, I'd say. And as well, it's just knowing that you have this other party on board that is as committed as you are, is as passionate as you are. River mentioned earlier, there were times when we had to work 18, 20 hours, and you know that there's someone on your team and they get it and they want it, they're hungry and they have the same passion and commitment and drive as you. And when you find that with a co-founder, that's the spark that you need to really make something that's amazing to make the magic happen. And I think that we were just able to, from the nature of our relationship to how we do things, it was just really an easy and smooth transition there. And there were definitely tons and tons of roller coasters and ups and downs during the period. I remember someone commented actually on our Facebook page, there's a video we have where we're scanning the mailers, and someone commented saying you can just use a manifest. It's essentially the sheet where all the orders you get in, you can just print out one sheet, and then you just have the carrier, they scan that one sheet instead of scanning the labels individually. And it's, in hindsight, it's extremely simple, but this was our first rodeo and we didn't know that. I remember this one night where the manifest jammed. TikTok, the system had glitched. We couldn't print it out. We still had to get these to the carrier. And so River and I, we had to drive. In New York, there's this post office on Church Street, downtown Manhattan. It's near World Trade Center. And that one, the facilities are been 24 hours. And so we were in there. We got in, I think, at around 1. And again, we didn't know you could use manifest.
We're based in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn too. So it's a 45-minute drive.
Yeah. So we had to drive to the city. And then I think that night it was 870 packages. Yeah. And we just had to scan these one by one. So we were there for 2.5 hours. We were done around 3:30 a.m. And that's just a testament to having someone in there with you who has a similar commitment, passion. You understand what you're trying to do. And it's just a sense of knowing that we're in it together. And we have that level of commitment to each other to get it done and really put our best effort forward.
Thanks for listening to this episode of The Value of One, the Power of All, a podcast created by the Ron Brown Scholar Program, presented by the Ron Brown Venture Lab, and sponsored by Spira Capital. If you want to hear more inspiring conversations like this one, don't forget to click subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. And to learn more about the organization, check us out at ronbrown.org.